Hey everyone, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. Tonight we are doing some active stretching, specifically doing a little bit of PNF stretching. So that means it's proprioceptive neuromuscular. Um, let me see if I can think of it. It is a type of stretching that is going to put some active, you're going to contract the muscles actively while going to the end range of your motion. So it's a deeper type of stretching, and it's not something that you're going to do before a workout. It's going to be just kind of at the end of a day or an off day. And yeah, so we're just going to go through different types of moves that you can try, and we're going to use the wall, and we're going to use the floor, and we're going to use blocks as a prop. So you just need your mat, and that's about it. We'll get started in child's pose. So bring your knees wide and big toes are touching, and stretch your arms forward. Take long deep breaths in and out through the nose. So we're gonna kind of go through a bit of a flow and a warm up here, just to warm up the body, and then we'll get into more of the PNF stretching. Turn the hands so that the thumbs point up towards the ceiling. And then bring the palms back onto the floor. So we're going to lift up and walk over to the left side, and just reaching at an angle, bowing the head towards the knee. Try to sink the chest down and keep breathing deeply. So in and out through the nose. Think of on your inhales, you're getting some length through the spine. On your exhales, you're releasing the chest down, releasing the hips back. Go over to the other side. Right side, bowing to the knee. All right, and then releasing. So come on back to center. So we're going to rise up from here to tabletop pose. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders and the knees underneath your hips. So we're going to round up through the spine. Come into a cat stretch, and then inhale, drop the belly, lift your chin, chest forward, and draw the shoulders back. Exhale and inhale. All right, and then just one more, just holding that cat stretch. Breathing into the back so that chin is dropping down, belly pulled up, and then releasing, and then moving into a circle motion with the body. So bend into your elbows, pick a direction to move, counterclockwise and then clockwise. Just keep breathing deep. So you're not holding the breath here as you're moving around in a circle motion. All right, and then slow it down. So the first one here, we're just going to sit onto the heels, back here on your heels. And if you want to, you can sit in a cross-legged position if this bothers your knees. But first we're going to do a couple neck stretches here. So we're going to bring the right hand onto the floor, and if your hand doesn't touch the floor, you can put a block underneath it if you want to. But just make sure your right hand is touching something. And then we're going to take the left ear down to the left shoulder. So both of my fingertips are touching the floor here. And you just want to think about kind of pressing down into the floor and dropping the ear down. Think about this right shoulder dropping down as well. Try to keep the chest up. If your jaw feels especially tight here, neck and jaw, you can part the mouth so that just to release a little bit more through the jaw there. Okay, and then just keep touching the floor with your right hand there. Drop the nose now down towards the left armpit. And then lift up and then back to center. Okay, you can just do a little shake out first and then we'll go to the other side. So the left hand is going to be touching the floor and you just want to think about the fingertips touching the floor, kind of pressing slightly, putting a little bit of energy into your left fingertips as your right ear drops down to your right shoulder. And try to breathe as normally and regularly as possible here. Keeping the chest up, the shoulders back. And then dropping now, nose tilting down towards the armpit on that right side. And then you can release. So you can drop the chin down and then lifting up. So just do a little bit of head motion, go left, go right. So shake it out. Okay, so the next one we're going to stay in your seated position here. Clasp your hands back behind you and pull back. So pulling the knuckles, the hands down towards the floor, lifting the chest. Take another deep breath here. And then releasing. Okay, so another one we're going to just spin around so that we're on the seat. And then we'll take the hands back behind you. I'm just going to face this way. So the hands are back behind you. And then we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. And just keep pressing down into the hands. And then release. Okay, this next one, we're going to go back and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Now you want to think about pulling your hands towards your feet, almost like you're going to do a bicep curl. So you're going to think of your biceps pulling in towards your legs, but you're not moving anything. So a lot of this movement is going to be very subtle. You're not going to be able to see exactly what I'm doing, but I am pulling my arms towards my legs. And then you want to release that. Okay, and then maybe you can walk your hands a little bit further back, and then we'll do that again. So lifting the chest, pulling the shoulder blades together, and then think about pulling the biceps now towards your feet. Okay, so we're just going to hold that isometric contraction. Keep breathing, and then release. Okay, and then we'll come back around to hands and knees. And now another one, I'm going to work on some stretching traps and stretching shoulders here. Bring the blocks in front of you, they're lined up, and then we're going to lie on the belly, and we're going to bring the elbows up onto the blocks. So scooch back enough so that your head can drop down. Now we're going to bend the elbows and bring the hands to the back of the neck here. So I'm going to clasp my hands together, drop my head down. So the activation here, you're going to push down into your elbows and kind of lift your belly up. Okay, so I'm going to count it down. So we're going to do a 5-second contraction, and then we're going to release, and then we'll do 2 more reps of that. Okay, so go ahead, line it up and push down. And then release. Take a deep breath in and out. And then again, push down. Push down through your elbows. And then release. I'm just lifting my head up so I can talk to you, but you can just keep your head down. Okay, and we'll do 1 more. Okay, pushing down through your elbows onto that block. All right, releasing, and there. Okay, so you can shift the blocks over to the side. We're going to press up, walk the knees in, and we're going to go to downward facing dog. Walk it out. So activating the legs here in downward facing dog, where we're going to bend into the right knee and extend that left leg, and then you want to push the left heel onto the floor. So you want to make sure that the heel is actually contacting the floor. And so you are contracting this whole left leg and trying to get a good stretch through that left calf muscle here. The right knee is bent and you're pulling your chest in towards your thigh, both thighs, and then releasing, and then switching sides. So bending into your left knee and your right leg is straight, contracting the quadricep muscles. The knee is not bent on that right side, and you're reaching the heel, pushing it down into the floor. Keep breathing. And then releasing. Okay, pedal it out. Step to the top part of your mat, folding forward. So just rocking side to side here. And then back to center, and then you can rise up all the way. So stretch arms above your head, bring your hands to your heart. From here, clasp your fingers, press down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, take the hands back behind you, clasping behind you. Pull back, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, clasp and press. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, clasp and press. Inhale, lift the arm. Exhale, release back behind. Clasp and pull, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, fold and hold. Drop the head, arms lifting up. Breathing into the back. And then slowly rise up. Reaching above your head, hands to your heart, clasp and press down. Inhale, lift the arms, side bend to the left. So we're just going to go through a little bit of some sun salutations, getting the body a little bit warmer here before we move into a little more active stretching. We're going to come back to center, go over to the other side. So we'll just flow through a few poses without holding too much, and then come back to center, and then let it go. So we're going to forward fold, fan down, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, step your right foot back, drop your right knee down, take the arms up, inhale, exhale, hands to the floor, step back into plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhale to down dog. Step your right foot forward, left knee down. Inhale, lift the arms, exhale, hands down to the floor, step forward to the top. Inhale, halfway, fold, exhale, inhale, rise up all the way. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands to the floor, step your left foot back, left knee down to the floor, arms reaching up. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back into plank pose. Up dog cobra, downward facing dog. Left foot steps. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands to the floor, step forward to the top. Halfway lift, fold forward, exhale. Inhale, rise up. So we're gonna keep moving. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands to the floor, step your right foot back, drop your right knee down, inhale. Exhale, step back plank, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog, step your right foot forward. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands to the floor, step forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up all the way. Exhale, hands to the heart. Step your feet together, toes touching. Drop down, sweep the arms up for Utkatasana. Pull the hips back. Lift your chest forward. Okay, so we're going to pump the arms and get more heat through the body here. So we're going to palms face down. Exhale, palms face up. Inhale. So in through the nose. Quick out breath through the mouth. In through the nose. Keep moving. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Make sure you're rotating the hands. Legs should feel like they're burning. That's good. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Standing up all the way. Inhale and then exhale, forward fold. Step the feet wide. Rocking from side to side. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Step the feet back together. Step your left foot back. Left knee down to the floor. Reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back into plank pose. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Now we're going to practice our vinyasas and chaturangas here. So we're going to come back up to plank pose. Exhale down. You can use the knees for this. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to plank. Inhale and then exhale. Up dog. Exhale to plank. Inhale. Exhale. Up dog. Exhale to plank. Inhale. Exhale. Up dog. Exhale to plank. Take an inhale. Exhale. Up dog. Exhale to plank. Keep moving. Exhale down. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to plank. Inhale in. Exhale lower. Up dog. One more, you guys. You can do this from the knees. Up dog. Child's pose. Bring the knees down to the floor. Stretch back. Breathe it out. So come on up back to tabletop, come up into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up into the air. You can bend into the right knee. Bring your right knee in towards the knee or in towards the chest, and then kick back through the right leg. Bring the right knee in towards the chest and nose, head's dropping towards that leg, and then reach away. Bring it in. Stretch away. Bring it in. And stretch away. The right knee in. Push away. Pull the right leg in. And stretch away. One more time. Push away. And then release down. Come forward, down onto the knees. Bring the hands back behind you. Grab onto the heels. And bow. Start to rise back up. Hands to in front of you in tabletop. Come up into downward facing dog. Left leg back behind you. Bring the knee forward. Stretch it back. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, stretch it back. So think about pulling the core in, pulling the belly in. Exhale, forward, back. Forward, kick it back. Forward. Keep moving. One more time here. Bring it forward. Bring it back. And then bring it down. Back to child's pose. Give your arms a break. Bring your hands back behind you and grab onto your heels. All right, and then slowly come up. So we're gonna come up onto the knees and shins and reach up. Taking camel pose, hand up, arms up, and then hands back behind you. Resting on your low back, or you can tuck the toes under, grab the heels, press your belly forward, lift your chest up. You can also just hold onto your hamstrings. So palms facing your hamstrings, roll your shoulders back, and that may offer some support, kind of the middle ground between grabbing onto your heels and just resting your hands on your back. So press your belly forward, engage your glutes so that you're pressing your hips into extension here. All right, and then slowly release. So come forward to tabletop position. Okay, just move around in a circle motion again. Okay, we'll go through some warrior poses, and then we're going to use some blocks and the wall for another round of warrior position. So we're going to tuck the toes under and then come up, down dog, walk it out. Lift your right leg up, step forward, up to the hands, drop your back heel to the floor, and then reach up. So warrior one, come out to warrior two, and then come back into reverse warrior. Keep breathing. Back into warrior two position. Face forward into warrior one, and then bring it down. Step back into plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhale to down dog. Lift your left leg up, step forward, drop your back heel to the floor, and stretch your arms up for warrior one. Come on to warrior two. Check in with that front knee. Make sure your front knee is over your ankle, even open up to the left here. And then coming back into reverse warrior. then back into warrior two. Explore warrior one, inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Take a deep breath in and out. All right, so stepping forward, and I'm going to move my mat now, and you can do the same so that the end is at the wall. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's do some warriors with heels onto the wall. So we're going to start with the down dog, heels at the wall. So my heels are right up against the baseboard here. And I just want you to push down into your heels and keep pulling your chest towards your thighs. Okay, so just kind of keep contracting through your quadriceps, so they should feel contracted. And then you can kind of release that, bend your knees a little bit. And then again, contract your muscles in your thighs. Keep pulling the thighs back towards the wall. Keep pulling your chest towards your thighs. And then release that. Okay, so we're going to step the right foot forward. And then we're going to place that back outer edge of the foot right at the baseboard here. So just kind of check your alignment. Make sure that you are contacting the wall or the baseboard, whatever where your foot is at. And so that you can push back into the wall here. And now with your right leg, you just want to make sure that the knee is bent, that you can see your right big toe, and then put your hands onto your hips, and then just kind of see if you can pull the right hip back and draw that left hip forward. Okay, still keeping a really active contraction through the left leg here. So you want to keep pushing through the outer edge of the foot. So you should feel like a little bit of a deeper stretch through that leg, through that left hip flexor as you're pulling that right hip back. So facing forward, reaching out for warrior one. Coming out to warrior two position. And then reverse warrior. And then releasing all the way down. And then stepping back into plank pose, lowering through chaturanga, lift into up dog, and then come into plank pose. And I just want you guys to kind of feel what plank is like, holding those heels to the wall. So again, it just allows you to activate the legs a little more clearly through your mind. So really creating that mind-muscle connection by pushing your heels into the wall, and allows those legs to really ramp up that activation. And then you can engage your core as well, and then you can release that. So just give that a break here, and then we'll come up into downward facing dog. So same thing with those heels to the wall. We're gonna step the left foot forward. Okay, so just again, make sure that right heel, outer edge of the foot is pushing against the wall here, and then checking with your left leg this time. Make sure you can see the left big toe. Grab onto your hips, or just place your hands onto your hips, and then just focus on pulling the left hip back, and right hip is kind of rolling forward. So think about contracting down through this leg though, keeping this leg still and very active. And then this front leg has some give to it. So you can go deeper into your lunge, but this leg is a no-go. It's not going to do anything. It's connected from your hip right to the wall. Just think of it that way, and then you can kind of go a little bit deeper. You're really pushing down, activating through that leg. And again, you want to feel this hip, feeling the hip stretch from that right hip flexor, and that is pulling. So as you're pushing your left hip flexor or hip back and drawing your right hip forward. Arms reaching up, out to 2, warrior 2. You could touch the wall here. It's not going to do too much. You might feel more stretch through the shoulder here, touching that right hand to the wall. You can go back into reverse warrior. Same thing, you can kind of play around. If you can touch the wall with your left hand, it may help you kind of get a little bit more extension into the thoracic spine. And then we're going to release and then come out. Whew. So that's quite a bit of activation. We're going to go through chaturanga, lift into up dog or cobra, and then just take a rest for a moment in child's pose. Don't worry, we will be stretching out those quadricep muscles pretty good here in a bit here. If they feel like they're on fire, that's a good sign. Just getting your body kind of working, tapping in to what the pose should feel like and getting into kind of a deeper level here of mobility. We're going to release, so come on up into tabletop pose. And then we're going to come up to standing, and we're going to do some balancing with the wall. So the first one, we're going to bring your right foot, actually we're going to grab some blocks. We'll first grab onto your blocks, and then we're going to do standing split with the foot on the wall. So you kind of want to measure it so that your leg is as straight as can be, pushing back behind you. Look down and make sure that you can see your toes. And then again, it's going to be a lot of what you feel, because just looking at me, I'm not really going to be doing too much, but I'm actively pushing my right foot into the wall. And then you want to think of your inner right thigh, so that right leg that's up, your inner thigh rolling up towards the ceiling at the same time. So again, just kind of ton of activation here. You want to make sure that your back is mostly flat. So if your blocks are too close to your feet, then that may feel a little too scrunched. But having this kind of halfway lift, activating the core is really helpful here. So getting that length through the spine. The glute muscle on the right side should feel like it's really active, and then releasing down. Whew. So just go into a forward fold before we do the other side. And then come on up, and then we'll do the other side. So you should be, unless your legs are a little bit, one is longer than the other, you should be in the right place to do the other leg. So that left leg is going to come back, and you're going to push the foot into the wall. Toes are pointing down. So make sure the whole foot is on the wall. So not just your tippy toes. You want your heel especially to be touching the wall. Toes are pointing down. You want to think about your inner left thigh rolling up towards the ceiling. Engaging your core, so just think of tummy or your belly button pulling up towards the ceiling here. Try to keep that contact with the wall. That's the hardest thing. And then releasing down. Okay, so again, just forward fold to relax that. Okay, now we're going to work on pushing the wall. So Again, a little bit of a stretch through the leg as well. You won't need your blocks for this. But you want to imagine, so yeah, this is something that anyone can do, even if you don't have weights, especially if you don't have weights at home, but using that isometric contraction to build that muscle and build that mobility in your shoulders, or in any muscle here. What we're going to do is we're going to do a wall push. So you're in a warrior stance. My right foot is forward, my left leg is back. I'm going to turn and face the wall. Make sure I'm close enough into the wall, and I'm just going to push. So push the wall with all your might. So as I'm pushing, I'm putting a lot of energy into my back leg. My right knee is bending forward into the wall as well. It's not contacting the wall, but I'm getting a stretch through my hip. I'm getting a stretch through my calf. I'm building some strength through my shoulder and chest here. And then you can relax that. And then we're going to go again. So make sure you're pushing. And then relax that. Okay, and then we'll switch sides with the left foot forward and the right leg back. And then go ahead and push. And then releasing. You can shake it out if you need to as well. If your shoulders feel like they need a break, go ahead when you're ready, push. So really making sure that that back leg is anchored into the wall, or into the floor, sorry. All right, and then releasing. So it's something that, again, it's something that you're going to have to feel, because you can kind of do this lazily. So I could look like I'm really pushing, but right now I'm not. And then when I'm really pushing, it's just not, you're not going to be able to see it. You're not going to be able to see my action. You're just going to be able to feel what you're feeling. So you can put energy into it and then relaxing. So it's just relaxing, contracting the muscle. When you're contracting, you're kind of at the end range of your motion, and then you're relaxing, and then you start to be able to go a little bit further into your stretch. That's kind of the idea with the PNF. So we are going to do another variation with the wall here. We're going to face the wall and take the leg back. So we're going to be outstretched, kind of like our standing split, but a warrior 3 position. So hands at the wall, walk back enough so that you're in an L shape, and then reach your right leg back. So again, pushing into the wall. This is more of a shoulder stretch. Reaching the right leg back. Keep pushing into the wall. And then releasing, and then switching sides. Left leg. And then releasing. On that same theme here of balancing, we're going to do half moon. So we're going to bring the mat so that it's running along your base boards, alongside. You're going to need a block. Okay, so half moon, come back a little bit. is your right, we're going to do the right leg and the right hand onto the floor. So bringing your, going into sort of a lunge here, you're bringing your left hand on your left hip here. Maybe I'll move back a little bit more just so you can see. When you're ready here, that left leg is going to reach up. And then we're going to start to kind of use the wall. So I'm starting to lean back. My right hip is touching the wall, contacting the wall. My right shoulder is contacting the wall. And then when you're ready, you can lift that left arm up as well. Okay, so using the support of the wall to really stretch open wide here. So that right arm, that left arm, right arm, really kind of opening up, try to take up space. My left heel contacting the wall here. So I'm pushing my heel into the wall to help support the pose. And then you can release down. Okay, Trikonasana with the wall. So your legs are going to be sort of in that warrior stance here, but both legs are going to be straight. There's going to be a little bit of bend into your front knee here. So a little bit shorter distance than your warrior one position with your legs. Block in hand, block into the inside part of the foot. Now if that's too low for you, then you can come up here and just kind of place the back of the right hand onto the top of your knee, inner thigh, and you can stay here. Okay, but if you feel comfortable going down lower, then you're grabbing onto the block. And again, we're just going to use the support of the wall to get into the pose a lot deeper. You want to think about pulling this left hip, so the hip that's up, you want to think about pulling that and that the back of the hip, so the glute, left glute, pulling that towards the wall. So right now there should be a gap between that and the wall, but pulling it back, and that will feel, you'll feel the stretch coming from your back, from this side of your body, all the way up through your arm here. Try to keep leaning into the wall to open. So using the wall will correct what usually happens in our Trikonasana is just kind of doing this kind of leaning forward action. It's not opening the shoulders enough. So really helping to correct that posture if you're doing yoga at home. And then we're going to slowly release. So take it up, and then we'll do the other side. So we'll start with the half moon. So just kind of spin around here. I'm not going to be facing you anymore, but we're going to start with half moon on the left leg. So that means the right leg is going to come up. And the block is about a block's distance in front of my right foot. Okay, so here I'm opening up, and I'm just kind of trying to lean back and use the support of the wall. My right leg is contracted, extended, my heel's touching the wall. I'm trying to take up as much space on the wall as possible. My left hip is touching the wall, so make sure your left hip and glute muscle, that is touching the wall. Releasing. Trikonasana with the wall, same side here. And again, the outer edge of my left foot is up against the wall here. My back foot is kind of pulled out a little bit, so I'm still hip distance apart. I'm not walking on a tightrope here. But you can even space your legs out even more for your Trikonasana. So you could be more than hip distance apart if you want. It's more balancey if you have your front heel in line with your back heel. So you can kind of try it out here. for more advanced, then you could start doing the back heel in line with your front heel. But if you're just starting, then just space your hips out a little bit more. So dropping that block into the inside part of the foot, leaning back. Think about pulling your right hip, pulling that towards the wall. So you can even kind of feel behind you how much space between your low back, your right hip, and your right glute. You can see how much space. So if there's quite a bit of space, you're turned down. Try to lift up a little bit more. Maybe you need to lift up your leg to correct that space. So you're not going to be touching the wall, but you want as close to the wall as you can get. So play around with lifting your posture up. Maybe that will help. And as well, maybe you need to shorten your stance, or maybe you do need to pull your right heel a little bit closer. If you're spaced out too much, there's no way your right hip is going to touch the wall, or your backside is going to touch the wall. So play around with there to see if you can get a little bit deeper into the pose by pulling yourself into the wall, taking up space in the wall. Check in with your left shoulder. See if you can contact the wall to your shoulders, or the shoulders to the wall, and your shoulder blades as well. Should feel like quite a big stretch here through that right side, and then you can release. So coming out and releasing. Okay, so we'll just go through a vinyasa before we do the other side. So coming to the top part of or going into a different pose altogether. So reaching up, inhale, exhale, folding forward, step back into plank lower through, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. So just keep taking some deep breaths here in this up dog. Enjoy the extension. Take another deep breath in. And then you can release in child's pose. Right. So next here we will go into hips and quadriceps. If you feel like your knees are a little tender or sensitive, then you may want to grab an extra mat or a cushion, or even a small pillow just to stick under your knee. So I'm just going to face this way so that you guys can see me. I'm going to start with my right leg. And I'm going to bring my right knee as close as I can to the wall, so that the top of my foot is at the wall. Okay, and I'm going to shift in. My left leg is in front of me in that lunge position. So as best as you can, you are going to hold that and maybe come up. So if possible, you're going to rise up, and you can use your blocks near you, in front of you. If you have both of them on either side, you can do that as well. Okay, so for the piano stretching, and you can do this leaning forward as well, we are going to push the foot, your right foot, into the wall. So the top of the foot is going to press into the wall, and you're also going to squeeze your right glutes and also tuck your tailbone under at the same time. Okay, so we're going to hold that for 10 seconds of contraction, and then release for 5, doing 3 rounds. Okay, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and push your right foot into the wall and contract your right glutes, and think about tucking your tailbone under. And then you can release that contraction, release any pressing. Breathe. And then go again. Okay, pushing the top of your foot into the wall. contracting the glute muscle on that right side. Gets pretty intense, so make sure you're breathing through it and releasing. You can come forward to release if you need a little bit of extra release. Okay, one more time. So pushing the foot into the wall, top of the foot, right foot, and contracting the glutes. And then you can release. Okay, so coming forward, your knee is going to be on the floor, and your back toes, actually you can untuck your back toes. I'm just gonna come off the mat a little bit more. Okay, so into just a hip stretch here. So yeah, tuck your back toes under, and we're going to think about now, we're in the same side here, so getting into the hip. So the contraction is going to be pulling the right knee forward this way. So forward towards the top part of your mat, or towards in front of you. And we're also going to contract the glute muscle at the same time. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and do that. And again, you can use blocks to help you. I'm just using the support of my knee. And then you can release. So you can release in a forward motion and just try to breathe into that. You can shift your front leg forward. So again, this is going to be increasing the hip stretch, the hip mobility on your right side there. Okay, let's go again. So go ahead and contract. So you want to think of pulling the knee, even though you can't see my knee moving, it is pulling forward. So I'm trying to pull everything forward, and I'm contracting glute muscles at the same time. Keep breathing, keep lifting tall, chest tall. Okay, and releasing out. Breathing into that. Okay, and then let's go for a third round here. So when you're ready, you can go for it. Pulling that right knee forward and contracting right glute. Breathing through that and letting that go. Oh my goodness. Okay, so gently pulling yourself out of that position. Taking child's pose. And then going to the other side. Okay, so we're going to start with stretching the quad. So go ahead and try and bring your left knee as close as you can to the wall. You can kind of slide it like I am, up to the wall. And again, you can put a cushion underneath your left knee if you need to, okay? I'm not sitting right on my kneecap, but you can, yeah, again, you can just put something underneath your knee if this feels like it's too tender, or you can lean forward if this feels like it's way too much for you. Okay, so we are going to push the top of the foot into the wall, contract the left glutes this time, and tuck the tailbone under. So when you're ready, go for that. Pressing the top of the foot into the wall. And releasing. And then going again. Pressing the top of the left foot to the wall, tucking the tailbone under, contracting the left glutes. Keep breathing into that stretch. Try to lift the chest tall. top of the left foot into the wall. Contracting the glutes. Breathing, lifting tall. All right, and releasing out. Okay, so shifting forward. Now you can rearrange your mat however you want to. So I'm just in a lunge here with my back toes tucked under, and I can even face this way here. So back toes are tucked under, and I'm just going to be breathing here. So the hips are going to be driving forward here. So what we're going to do, think about driving or pulling the left knee towards you. So in front of you on the floor, you're not going to see it move, but you want to feel the right knee or that left knee pulling. Okay, at the same time contracting the glutes, and go for it. Okay, holding that for 10 seconds. And we're going to contract for 10 seconds. We're doing an isometric hold, and then we're going to release. So try to relax as much as you can when I say. Keep pulling, squeezing, and then you can release. So I'm just leaning forward here to relax, relaxing the knee, trying to relax and breathe into that space. Okay, we're going to go again. So when you're ready, go for it. So think about pulling the left knee towards you, in front of you, sliding it, and contracting the left glutes, tucking the tailbone under. One side just may feel like it's harder than the other, just to kind of feel that it is all about just kind of connecting, saying, oh yeah, I feel that there, and feel the knee kind of pull, but you're not pulling it. It's very subtle. Okay, releasing from there. It's very subtle, but this is very effective. It's not something that you're going to do every day, but it's just something that you can try out and see if it's for you. If you want an increase in your flexibility, then you could do this once a week. See how it goes. Okay, another one. Go for it. Pulling the knee in, pulling the knee forward, contracting the left glutes at the same time. So there's lots of things going on. I know it gets pretty intense as well, pretty crampy. That's why it's really good to do warm up here before you do any of these stretches. Get releasing out. Yeah, before you do any of these stretches that I'm showing you, we did a warm up at the beginning of the class. You don't ever want to go into doing any PNF stretching cold. So we're just going to sit back onto the heels, onto the knees, and we're going to do some cow-cat from here. So hands onto the knees, rounding the spine, and then inhale, lifting. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Okay, so next one here for our final standing pose, we're going to get into some hamstrings. So first we're going to start with the classic ape pose is what it's called, or translated, it's sliding the hands underneath the feet. And you can do this with the knees bent here. So you can bring your toes right up to your wrists. So again, just kind of pushing down into the tops of the hands, but you're using the body weight to push down into the hands. And then when you feel like you can straighten out the legs, then you will. So you're going to start straighten up, and then the chest keeps pulling in towards the thighs here, and the legs kind of pull back. Again, if you can't straighten the legs, that's totally fine. This is something that you would work up to do as well. Really good shoulder stretch and spine stretch all around. And then we're going to release from there. And then just slowly rise back up. Just deep breath in, exhale out. Okay, so the next one here, and I'll show you two different versions of it depending on your flexibility. So I'll show you one for someone that's not very flexible, and then someone that is very flexible in their hamstrings and they just can't, they touch the floor when they touch their, or when they try and touch the toes, they're going past their feet. So just starting with bringing your hand down and just seeing where you are touching. So if you cannot touch the floor, then you will be using blocks. Okay, so we'll start with just people that are less flexible. You're holding on, say, the lengthwise position of the block. Okay, so holding onto the lengthwise position of the block, and then you just want to push down into your hands, look back at your legs, and contract your legs. So contracting the muscles in your quadriceps and trying to straighten everything out. Okay, so pushing. So if you don't feel any stretch in your hamstrings, that means you can go down further. Okay, so maybe you're at here. Okay, do the same thing. So you're pushing down, looking back at your legs, contract, contract. Keep pulling the leg bones back. As you're pushing down into the hands, you're almost like you're trying to lift up and do a handstand. So you will feel this contraction in your belly. So that's the kind of feeling that you want. If you don't, then again, you can go down lower. So maybe your hands are touching the floor. And then again, if your hands are touching the floor, push down into your hands. Think about raising your hips up towards the ceiling, contracting your quadriceps. And again, this is stretching, you're actively stretching your hamstrings. For people, and I'm not this flexible, but I'm just going to show it to you. For people that are really flexible and they can beyond to touch your, go beyond the floor, then you're going to go up higher. So you're going to step on the block and then you're going to place your hands down. I can only reach my finger, I can't pancake my hands down, but say you're touching the floor with your palms flat onto the floor, and then you're going to push down into your hands. And again, think about your hips raising up, contracting through the quadriceps and pulling your leg bones back. Make sure you're pushing down, and then you can release out of that and just slowly rise up. Okay, so those are just, again, just different ways of stretching the hamstrings and kind of different variations or the progression of. So say you start, maybe you start here at the beginning of the year and then maybe you get your palms down onto the floor by the end of the year. So kind of giving yourself reasonable goals too. You don't want to ever push hamstring stretches because you could go overboard, you could overstretch, and you could also tear. So just because something kind of looks good, then doesn't mean it's going to be necessarily for you or right for you at the right time. So you definitely proper warm up and a proper progression to get to the pose that you want to go into or the stretch that you want to go into. So we are going to go up to the wall. We're going to sit at the wall and do Baddha Konasana here. So getting into inner thigh. So back at the wall and feet are together and just hands on to the knees. So what you want to do here is you're pushing your hands down into the knees and trying to resist that. So you're also pulling your knees, pushing your knees up into your hands, and at the same time, squeeze your glutes. Okay, so keep holding that as best as you can. Try to squeeze your glutes. This is a very tough position to kind of feel contraction through the glute muscles, so as best as you can, and then you can relax that. So just kind of relax any tension and resistance there. Breathe into it, and then go again. So at the same time, you're squeezing your glutes, you're pushing down into your knees. My back's up against the wall. You can do this with your with sitting on a couple blocks too, as long as you can feel your sit bones and you're not kind of half on and half off of a block. So I'd recommend kind of sitting across two blocks if you're going to go into Baddha Konasana, sitting on blocks up against the wall. This is something that, this is a pose generally, like even without any resistance or activation, that you can just do and sit for minutes at a time, and over time you will get more flexible in this position. Your knees will drop closer towards the floor. We're just going to try that one more time. We're going to do another contraction, so squeezing the glutes. I'm not putting all my effort, and again, any of these, the contractions and the activations, it's only going to be about 50% of your total strength. So you're not going hard the whole time. Again, just want to feel like there's some kind of activation happening. It's about 50%, and yeah. So don't go crazy here, and then you can release that. So from here, you can lean forward, grab onto your feet. You can also grab onto your feet and kind of push your elbows down into your shins and knees and round your back just slightly forward. Releasing from there. All right, so we are going to come onto the floor, and I'm just going to move the mat here. Okay, so rolling like a ball to get down onto the back. Inhale back, exhale forward. You can do this without holding on here if you're working on core. Happy baby pose. Down, grabbing onto the shins, grabbing onto the feet, grabbing onto the knees, rocking side to side here. Okay, so next here we'll go into a figure four position. Cross your right leg, right ankle on your left knee, and lift up your left foot. Actually, we're going to spin around. You can do this without the wall, but just because I have the wall here, I'm going to use the wall because it's just a good feature to have when you're doing a stretch. So sometimes just doing this without holding onto the leg, that will feel like enough stretch. And you can slide your hips, your bum closer to the wall. See if you can't feel anything there, then you're just going to get closer to the wall, and that's going to bring your right shin closer to your chest, which is going to activate, or is going to stretch your glutes. What you want to make sure though is that your back is on the floor. So my low back is on the floor, my tailbone is contacting the mat and the floor. If it's rolling up, then you're too far. So make sure you're finding a space where your back is still contacting the floor, and you can still pull that shin. You're still getting a stretch into the glute. Right foot is contracted or flexed, so push out through the heel, flex the toes in towards the shin. Okay, and then you can kind of, if you want a little bit more activation, a little bit more stretch, then you can place your right hand onto your right knee and kind of push it away. So push it towards the wall, and if that feels like you've gotten a little bit further, then you can slide yourself closer to the wall, and you can kind of progress from there. So this is just a good alternative as opposed to doing the thread the needle, because sometimes the needle is kind of, you're activating your shoulders, it's just putting another kind of stress into the pose. This is more of a passive position, and you can again just hold for a much longer time and not tire out shoulder muscles or hand, or get a hand cramp from holding onto the leg. So really good alternative. So make sure you're breathing though, taking some deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Belly breaths. On your exhales, you're thinking about pulling the hips down towards the floor. And then you can release from there. Okay, and you can kind of go to the side, do a little bit of windshield wipers, and then go back, and we'll do the other side right away here. So we'll take the left foot onto the right knee and do that figure four. And then again, maybe you need to change your positions. If one hip is tighter than the other, then you'll need to move away from the wall or closer to the wall, depending on your side. But just try to do what you can here. Breathing deep, and that left heel is now pushing out, and the right and the left toes are pulling in towards the shin, and this left knee, I can press it away and just engage and get a little bit deeper into that stretch here on that left glute. Breathing deep. Again, you're making sure your back and your tailbone, from your tailbone and up, is all contacting the mat or the floor, because that is, you're resting against that, and you need that support. Once your tailbone or your back just starts lifting up, you're not getting that great of support in the pose, and you may feel the stretch, but you can just do it a lot more effectively if you have the proper support. And that's kind of the whole idea behind this video, is just getting the proper support so that you can rest, use the wall, use your floor, use a block as a tool, as a prop, so that you can move deeper into the position. Because sometimes it's just kind of hard to feel certain poses when you're not grounded enough. And then when you don't have the floor or the block or the wall, and you're doing a pose next time, your body starts to remember what it did feel like when you did have those, and then you know what's possible. So you know that there's kind of deeper levels of stretching and also activation as well. So it's all kind of just giving your body information. Okay, and then we're going to release from there. Okay, now using the wall to do our reclined twist here. So I'm facing this direction, so my left leg is going to go over to the right. We're going to start by just kind of bringing yourself away from the wall. We're going to use the wall for this one. We're going to pull that left knee in and just give a big hug in towards yourself. Then we're going to straighten the left leg up towards the ceiling. I'm just holding on. I'm not doing this big stretch here. You can, again, this is another good hamstring stretch, of course, but we're going to take it over now, that left leg to the right side. I may need to adjust here. I'm going to put my foot on the wall, so my legs are scissored. And then we want to pull that left shoulder back and think about stretching here. So finding that twist. And then as best as you can, you are pushing this left foot into the wall. At the same time you're pushing it into the wall, you are pulling the left side of the rib cage down towards the floor. So what you can do, just to feel it, you're going to place your left hand on the rib cage, on your hip, and just pull it down to the left. So stretching the fascia. So, and just using your hand as a guide to kind of help your body kind of feel that stretch. I'm not putting a lot of pressure, but my hand is guiding my back side of the body that's facing you, pulling that towards the floor and to the left. Okay, so you'll feel this in the inner left thigh, you'll feel that in the IT band, you'll feel that in the whole low back as well, and then you'll feel that in your left shoulder too. Once you stick your left arm out to the side, play around with range of motion there as well. You can look over to the left, let your head tilt to the left. And then slowly release. Whew, like that's really intense, pretty fast. So I'm just going to flip around to do the other side. Right leg. So the right knee's going to come in towards the chest. And then the right leg's going to go up, and you're going to hold on to the hamstrings there, flexing the foot. And then we're going to take it over to the left side. And then again, just adjusting as best as you can. You want this, my right leg is straight here, and the left leg underneath here is straight, but you can bend into the knee if you want to, kind of depending on your flexibility too. If you want intensity, then you're scissoring the legs. So both legs will be straight. You're pushing into that into your right foot pushing into the wall, and then your right rib cage, you can place your right hand on your rib cage, side body, and you're pulling it to the right here. So you'll feel an increased stretch as you pull, as you kind of press down on that side towards the right. You'll feel that in your hip flexor, you will feel that across your rib cage, and you'll feel that in your glutes and your low back, kind of kind of especially if you have really tight IT band, you will feel that there anyways. You'll feel that in the inner right thigh as well. Try to breathe as normally as possible here. Right arm can eventually stretch out to the side and play around, range of motion, bending the elbow, cactusing the arm, doing internal, external rotation on the arm, shoulder. Alright, and then slowly we're going to release. So you can bend the knee, bring everything back together, give yourself a hug. I'm going to spin around to the other side. So give yourself a big hug, pull the knees in towards your chest. So we're going to get down, cool down, and Shavasana here. Let it go, so bring the feet to the floor, arms out to a T, let the knees go back and forth in windshield wiper position. So we're just back and forth, breathing into the belly and breathing into the chest, letting the legs feel heavier and heavier as we go along. Alright, and then slow it all down and then move into Shavasana position. You can choose seated position as well. Choose any position where you feel that you will be able to relax without thinking about your body position too much. So if you feel that seated position is really relaxing for you and you don't have to think about your hips cramping up, then that's a position for you if you're practiced in that. But generally, Shavasana is going to be the position of choice because you can just relax down. You don't really have to think about your body at all, which is what we want right now to restore the body's balance here. We want to start thinking about breath over body here. So taking a deep breath in where you're at, fill the lungs, fill the belly, and a long deep breath out through the mouth. Letting the palms face open to the ceiling, the feet open towards the ceiling as well, so the feet opened up. And another deep breath in, fill the lungs, belly, sides of the body, big breath in and a long deep breath out. Again, through the mouth, nice slow deep breath out. And then taking one more of those big breaths in. You can even pause at the very top of your inhale and then take a long exhale out, and you can pause at the bottom of your exhale if you wish, just to add a little bit of space. So what we want to do is start slowing that heart rate down as best as we can. So generally the best way to do that is taking longer exhales than your inhales. So those exhales will be a couple seconds, maybe 3 seconds even, longer than your inhales. Start with a count of 6 and 8. So 6 count in, 6 seconds of breathing in, and then an 8 count of breathing out. If you feel like that was too much for you, then you can start at a 5 and 7. If you feel like that was too short for you, then you will go on to 7 and 9 ratio. So just kind of start at whatever number is going to be right for you and your heart rate right now. And generally your heart will start to slow down and your ratios will increase. And starting to let the rest of your body relax here as you focus on your breath. So think about letting the back body really rest and take up space on your mat, on the floor, on the earth. Letting the heels relax down, calf muscles, soften the backs of legs and fronts of the legs to the knees and back to the feet. Letting both legs feel very heavy and supported. Letting your eyes sort of relax down and letting your mind's eye travel down to your hips, with the sides of the hips and through the glutes, your tailbone, all softening and relaxing down. Now the back body through the spine, mid-back. Feel your upper back, then your shoulder blades pull down, rest. Feel the backs of the arms resting. and supported by the floor. Bring your attention to the sides of the neck, lengthening out but softening down, back of the neck. Softening enough so let the head completely go, so that the head can just rest by itself on the mat, on your floor and on the earth. See if you can find that floating feeling of, well, it's kind of in between, that heavy feeling and floating through that back body line. Letting the forehead relax, all the lines in your forehead and around your face begin to smooth out, letting your eyelids feel even heavier. Relax your jaw, relax your mouth, and relax the tongue in your mouth. Soften your throat, collarbones, your chest, and your abdomen. Feeling your whole body continuing to breathe and continuing to relax all together. Taking your time, bringing the attention back to your breath. Sound back into your breath, and then adding some motion back into your body very slowly. Bit by bit, you're increasing some motion, moving intuitively, stretching however you would like to stretch right now to reawaken the body. So morning stretch and then windshield wipers is always a good go-to. Breathing deeply, and also just acknowledging the relaxed body breathing right now. Breathing fully into the belly, into the lungs, and exhaling fully as well. Rolling or rocking over to the right side, and then making your way up to seated when you're ready from there. Okay, namaste everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight for this active stretch session. Let me know what you guys think of this class, and yeah, a little bit of a diversion from the flow, regular flow, but let me know what stretches you like the best, and if you'd like to see more of this. There's tons of active stretching poses that we can do and delve into, and if you find this method effective, then yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see more of this. Check out other videos. Everyone is different, every flow is different, and working on a different body part in my video archived in this Facebook channel, and also on YouTube, Melissa Shippey Live Elements YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for watching, you guys, and like this video if you liked it, and share it if you liked it even more, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.